Now, I'm pretty sure that most of you watching this will be just like me when it comes to buying something and just expecting that what it says on the front to be exactly what you're going to get on the inside. And that's no different when it comes to Gemini's products. Now, I've done dozens of videos for Gemini over the years, and I've always stated that what it says on the packet is a breaking strain of £30. But have I ever actually tested that for myself? No. So that's exactly what today's video is all about. It's also why Gemini have sent me this. Now, I know it looks like something straight out of the set of a Saw film designed primarily to torture guinea pigs, but as there's no blood and fur on it, I'm pretty confident it hasn't been used for that in the past. But it is rather industrial looking, so what exactly is this and how is it going to be used for the test? Well, first and foremost, it's a solid construction, fully welded metal frame, which weighs an absolute ton, believe me. So getting this to and from my swim isn't the easiest, but it does mean that when we're doing the test, it's not going to warp and flex. It's going to give us the most accurate readings as possible. Talking to scales, they are attached to a set of hinges at the top and below, meaning that when we apply the pressure, it's going to be as linear to the scales as possible, giving us, again, the most accurate reading possible. This then goes down to a second loop where we can attach the boom and a repurposed cork gun. So as I pull on the trigger, that slowly brings the cork gun down, applying the pressure to the booms, and then we'll get it to break. Now, these scales actually have a hold function, so once they break, it will show me the highest reading that it got to. We can make a note of them and see exactly how much it takes to break these tidy booms. And the booms we're going to be testing today, of course, are the Ronnie Rigs. Gemini's most popular selling because it's one of the most popular rigs out there. Now, all of their tidy booms are available in either 5.5 inch, 7 inch, like I've got with me today, or 9 inch. All of them have a rated breaking strain of £30. All of them 100% fluorocarbon, and for those of you nerdy out there, it's a refractive index rating of 1.42. If you're not so nerdy, a bit like me, it basically means next to invisible in water, or as close to invisible as you can possibly get. But most importantly is it uses fused loop technology. Now, what this is rather than a conventional knot that we would tie with any other hook link material, this comes pre-fused with a loop in it. Supposedly much stronger than any kind of loop that we can tie, but we're going to be putting that to the test. Now, to do that, I've got exactly the same fluorocarbon material that they use for their tidy booms, only I've tied a figure-8 loop knot in the top and bottom of them. So we're going to see what this breaks at, then move over onto the Ronnie Rigs and see what they break at. So first up is one of the booms that I've tied with figure-8 loop knots on either end, and you'll see I've moved the other camera much closer in so you can see the screen at exactly the same time as I do. Now, top loop into the top clip, bottom loop into the bottom clip. We'll turn the scales on whilst that's completely slack so there's no pre-tension in that boom. Let that set, and we'll do this process for every single test that we do. That is now zeroed. I'm going to press the hold button, which will give us the reading once it's broken. That'll start flashing, like so, and we start to tighten up. And remember, these booms are rated at £30, and this is exactly the same material, so we're looking for as close to that as possible. I'm going to go nice and steady, so it's not any sudden movements. And let's see what our first test would break at with the figure-8 loop knots. So that's £17, over 20, 22, 26, pretty close. It's broken, 27.18. I'm going to make a note of that and move on to the next one. Zeroed, hold, test. Take it slack, and we're underway. So 27.18 was the first one, which is pretty respectable to be honest, but not the £30 breaking strain suggested from the booms. 24, 26.58. Number 3, take up the slack, and away we go. So we've got 27.18, 26.58, and the last one, oh, already, 23.02. So there's our baseline of the same material with figure-8 loop knots. They broke at 27.18, 26.58 and 23.02, giving me an average of 25.59. So now it's time to move on to the tidy booms, which should break at £30 using exactly the same material, only these have a fused loop technology. And as you can see, getting them straight out of the package, straight off the glue strips that hold them in place. Pop the first loop in the top, second loop in the bottom clip, and away we go. First tidy boom. Already over 10, 18, over 20, 25, 29th, already over 30. 31.30, that's the first test, and already over the 30-pound breaking strain. Let's continue. I think you get the setup now. Should we just rattle through some results? 31.66. Well over 30. 31.56. First three, all of 31 of some variation. 32.44. 30.78. 30.5. 32.08. 31.04. Just 30.02. Well, I've just finished going through multiple different packs to make sure it wasn't pack specific. 10 results, all of which over £30, some closer than others, but still over, give me an average of 31.15, which when compared to the raw material with the figure of 8 loop knots, which is 25.59, it's about £5-6 stronger with the fused loop technology. So yes, it's braking at the rated braking strain, but also it's braking significantly higher than what you'd get with the same material with a normal loop that we could tie ourselves rather than the fused loop. Now, if you have a look here, it does look like a bit of a Gemini graveyard, but if there was a tombstone to go with all of these materials, it would say went down swinging because they all broke greater than the braking strain stated.